TSU head coach Brian Penny Collins, seventh season with the Tigers program. Coach, picked fourth in the preseason poll. Just general thoughts about you and your team in the season. We'll go to some questions.
What's exciting time? Basketball season is here. We're excited. Seems like it just ended. But the weather's starting to get a little chilly again, so you can feel like it's basketball season is coming. I'm excited about our group. We got 12 new guys. That's what college basketball has just done. That's what we're doing now. I mean, everybody's got new. So, I was proud of what our guys have done this summer and going into this preseason, and we're excited to get this thing tipped off here in less than 3 weeks.
Thanks, Coach. We'll go to some questions. Mike Organ, whatever you got, fire away.
Hey, Penny, how's it going?
So, Mike.
Hey, you talk about new guys, how the game's changed, so much turnover. I feel like that you're kind of used to that because you've brought in a lot of guys throughout your tenure. Does the new style, the portal, kind of play into your wheelhouse a little bit because it's something that you've been experienced with?
Well, yes and no. It's not ideal to have new team, at 5 new guys, 6 new guys every year. But continuity is what we all looking for as coaches. But I think with my JUCO background and having that consistency of knowing like 1 or 2 years you got to change it up every year. That's something that I'm comfortable in that atmosphere. So I'm not saying that that's what I love or that's what I like, but it's definitely not something new to me at all.
Who are some of your new guys? What were some of the issues you had to address? You had a good season last year, but I'm sure you wanted to address a few things. What did you address with some of these 12 new guys?
Well, we wanted to stay old. We didn't want to have a team full of freshmen. So I think we addressed that. Trying to bring guys in to have experience. We want to stay athletic and we want to stay long and athletic. So that's, we want to stay old, we want to stay long, we want to stay athletic. So we addressed all those things in this recruiting class. I think last year's team, we squeezed as much as we could out of them, barring injuries. We didn't have so many injuries. I believe that 18 could have easily been a 20-plus win season. But that's the thing that's going to be key for this group as well, just trying to have some guys that stay healthy. And let's see what we look like with a healthy season.
It's kind of, I'm going back to the portal here, but it's kind of funny to say that you can bring in guys that stay old, but that's basketball now.
Yeah, absolutely. You don't want to just throw out 6, 7 freshmen on your roster and have to play a bunch of young guys with no experience. That's what the portal has allowed us to do. When guys go in, we can get other good players, but there's also a process that goes with that. We want to get good guys that have good backgrounds, that come from good households, that have good character and values that can make our team come together quicker. And that you try to basically speed that. You try to get as much information as you can, bring guys in on visits and learn as much as you can about them. But even still, you got to go through the season, you got to go through adversity, and then we'll know who we are. Kind of when things don't go our way, that's when we really will know. But at the end of the day, I love where this group is right now. And if you are around our team, you would think we've been together 2 or 3 years, how much these guys care about each other and rock right now.
Give me a couple of guys, 2 or 3 guys that you're excited to see, that you feel good about bringing in.
Well, I was going to start with my returner. My lone returner, Canoe Wood, has been with me 3 years. Him, Justice Jackson, and Khalil London were all named team captain. And that says a lot about, what they've done in the preseason and how our team respects them. And then we have other wings like Brandon Weston and Carlos Williams and Deuce Harper and Aaron Nkrumah, who are all 6'6" or bigger, which we haven't had that kind of size on the perimeter since I've been here. So I'm excited about those big wings that we have. And then in the front court, we have a very experienced front court with Amir Langley, who you guys will talk to here in a second. He is coming in from USC Upstate, where he actually played meaningful minutes and had real stats, 9.6 rebounds a game. Josh Gundolay, another transfer from Iowa, by the way, MTSU. And then RJ Jessamy from Clarksville. He's really played high school ball in Clarksville, but he's from Philly, played at Mount St. Mary's last year. Another guy that actually has points on the board and played in every single game last year as a college basketball player. So we have experience. We're long, we're athletic. And there's some guys that we haven't ever seen here in this OVC, and we're going to look a lot different than we have in the past.
Kyle mentioned your pick 4th. I saved my last question for that because it's always kind of the same answer. But what do you think about the prediction? And You think they're underestimating you guys, or what do you think about it?
I mean, no, I mean, it's a whole new league. I think if there was ever a guessing year, this is a guessing year. You got Little Rock is number one, and they only got two guys back from last year's team. So since they got two, you got to pick them one. I mean, that's how crazy it is. It's we don't know. Nobody knows how this thing's gonna go. We believe we'll have a chance to be there in the end, and we. And so, no, I don't look at it as a positive or a negative. It's great for the fans, but for us, we all know what we got to do.
All right, Penny. Thanks a lot. Look forward to getting started.
Yes, sir.
Coach, I don't know if people one year may say the OVC is a defensive league or an offensive league. Do you think that changes year for year based on the number of players that change over? Or do you always see this year it's hard-nosed this or it's this? I don't know myself. So I don't know if the OVC has that sort of, I don't know, the mental or perception, of the other coach.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the perception is. I don't really know. I've never heard from the outside of what people think about the OVC, but I do know that the numbers don't lie. You take our top four teams and we can compete with any conference outside of the Power Five's top four teams. We can compete with SoCon, Big South, Horizon, any of those leagues that are quote unquote ranked higher than the OVC. We will compete. Our top four teams will compete anybody's top four teams. And look at the pros. We've got an unbelievable amount of pros in the NBA and overseas. Even this year, Riley going to the Spurs, like the OVC basketball is way more competitive, way more talented than people think. And our teams that can't make the tournament still, the Southern Indianas and the Lindenwoods, they're just a year away from getting even better and better. They're getting better and better every year. Facilities top notch. Western Illinois coming in, bringing it. They bring something different, a toughness that coming from the Summer League that was different for the league. But I believe that the OVC is just as competitive as any league there is. And, it's funny that people like to throw out, look at the conference ratings as if that's a direct reflection how talented or good or bad the conference is. But I know for a fact, playing all over the country and coaching all over the country, that the OVC is just as good as any league in the country.
From the time you all began your practices, your team activities till now, October 16th, where do you think your team's made the most progress in that time?
That's a good question. I would say just understanding what the expectation is from the coaching staff. With so many new guys, we didn't even actually do anything in the summer for the first 2 or 3 weeks. We just let these guys play, open gym, learn each other. And then when we started coaching, understanding just the simple skull of what we do, the base of what we do and our terminology. And if you went from when we first started to now, these guys are now creating their own lingo and they're building off what we've done. And in some ways, you don't want to compare it to the past because it's always like until you play a game, you don't know. But in many ways, we're further along now than we have been on many teams that I've had with everything. And a lot of us because we know we had no choice. Playing against guys that have been together 3 or 4 years, well, how are we going to match them if we don't spend an unbelievable amount of time together on the floor and out the floor to learn each other? So I believe that's been the biggest change from the beginning to now. Is just like these guys are really starting to understand. They're starting to get it. And obviously games experience is way more important than practice. So once we get a couple more scrimmages under our belt against other opponents, then we'll really get a clear idea of where we are as a team.
You talked about this team may be a little ahead. Where in the past, knowing that every year is different, where in the past have you seen your teams make the most progress? Is it in the preseason? Is it once you begin non-conference? Is it during conference play? And if it's different every year, that's fine. But where maybe you see more growth in this team during a certain part of the year?
Yeah, it's like a roller coaster for sure. It goes ups and downs. I've had teams here that had great non-conferences, and then an injury happens, and you don't know, and it just defeats you. Everything you worked on in the summer and the preseason goes out the door because now you're playing your 4-man as the starting 5-man. That happened to us last year. We were without all 3 of my 5 men for like 6 weeks last year. and we lose in overtime. We lose on last second shot. We lose another game by one. We lose to Lipscomb in the last 2 minutes of the game. And if I had my 5 man that we've been working on this whole time, you feel like some of those games would be different, even if this is 50% of those games are different. So that is a big factor on why some teams go up and down. But I think for us, getting into the heart of conference play has always been where we're peaking, and we just want to peak a little earlier, but we don't want to be playing our best basketball until the end of February and March.
I've asked other coaches this. Tell us, I think people know TSU and your tradition, your HBCU, not just basketball, but overall campus, everything. Why is it great to work for and be around and be a part of the TSU?
Yeah, I think the easiest thing, and I've been a lot of different places. The thing that's the most different is the family atmosphere. Like, you really know people, you really know them, you know their families. You get to feel that motherly and fatherly feel on campus when you're talking to professors, people that work here, people in maintenance, people in security. Like, I've never been anywhere where a security guard comes and brings a homemade apple pie and sits it on my desk. Like, it's a real thing. It's a real family atmosphere here. We just had homecoming. That's a different feel too. It's just, there's something different. It's like when you're gone for a long time from your house and you come back home and you just sit in that couch and you're like, oh, this is my couch. This is my spot. Like, it just feels good. Like, you go in your old bedroom that you grew up in. That's how TSU, it feels when our best thing that we have going on is our family atmosphere. It's unbelievable. It's a real thing. It's a real feeling. And being here is a special place. Nashville is not too bad either. But being at TSU it's a real thing. It's a real family atmosphere. It's not like a word people just throw around. It's for real.
We got Jeff Hims with us. He's got a question for you. Jeff, go ahead.
Hey, Coach. From the outside looking in, it feels like the transfer portal era that we're in is such a free-for-all. Describe the balance going in of, hey, I want to try to find this or that to build the style of team that you're looking for relative to who's actually available and gettable. And how does that take shape where these 12 newcomers can meld into the group that you'd like them to be when it just seems like the Wild West sometimes?
Well, it's definitely a Wild West, Jeff. That's for sure. You never know. I mean, you put it together like a puzzle piece, and every piece is different. And you're trying to just, put those pieces together. So when you get done, it's a beautiful picture, but it's never an exact science. But I think in the perfect world, when you're looking at it on paper, you don't want to have 8 seniors or 9 seniors or, a heavy class. You want to kind of mix it up. You want to have some high school kids mixed in with some JUCOs, mixed in with some transfers. You don't want all those transfers to be third-year guys. You don't want them all come from Power Fives. You don't all want them coming up from the lower level. There is a science to it that makes it right, especially me being here now and kind of understanding how the most important thing is character. If you can get the right character, everything else will fall into place. You want to get competitive guys that want to play basketball, to love the game too. But that character piece is so important, and not just asking the questions to the college coach. You're asking the high school coach. You're asking the mom and dad. And in some cases, you might even ask the girlfriend, how are they as people? And it's, you have to be an elite recruiter. You have to be an elite program builder, culture builder, because once they get here on campus, now you got to instill your culture, and you got to be able to, have discipline with those guys. And if they have great character, the discipline part of it's easier, because now they understand why you're doing what you're doing, and you're making practice hard and things are hard, and you might be screaming some days. If they have great character, they understand those things, and we'll get past the hard part faster. We'll come together faster if they understand why things are hard. So it's a long answer for it, but the easiest thing is trying to get great character guys that understand how to win. And then if they got all those things, all the hard part becomes easy because they understand why.
As you look at the group you've got now, is there a certain style you think this team can have or play with? And is that any different than your previous last couple of teams with the names being different?
We will look different, obviously, on the floor. We will play a little different in terms of, because we have so much size and length. Defensively, we'll change up some things we'll do. But I think the biggest thing is the discipline part. I think this will be a more disciplined group, just because they understand the urgency of what we have to play with. They all have different stories, and it's kind of like, I told them this, like, basically, I'm a historian of the game in terms of, like, everybody had to lose to win. Larry had to lose to win. Magic didn't have to lose to win. He came in and won right away. But Michael got beat by the Pistons, and it gave him that chip on his shoulder to win 3 in a row because he lost. Well, in this era, a lot of these guys don't really understand, like, what it feels like to lose as a team. These guys didn't lose to Tennessee. This Tennessee State team didn't lose to Western Illinois in the quarterfinals on the last second shot. So they don't understand that pain. But being an elite coach and an elite coaching staff, we're trying to make them understand that even though they didn't lose to Western Illinois on the last second shot, wherever they came from and it didn't work out, or they weren't happy, or the reason why they left, or transferring up a level, or being a high school kid having to prove yourself, that's your losing to the Pistons story. That's your losing to Western Illinois story. We need to have a carrot to chase. We need to have some pain. We need to have something that's making us want to win a championship this year. Like, we don't need to go to the semifinals this year and lose and be like, oh, well, next year we're going to, because you know how I felt. We need to get back. Like, we need to understand that the pain that it takes to win, we've already had that pain. You've already had it somewhere else. So painting that picture for them and making them understand, like, as a team, we can do it right now. We don't have to go through some trauma. So that's been a good challenge that, our staff is willing to accept. And I think our guys are really understanding and starting to understand that's what we got to do to get it done.
That's well said. Thanks, Coach. Thanks, Kyle.
Yep.
Coach, appreciate your time. We'll transition to your player now, but best of luck to you and your team this season.
Thank you.